All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Championship Lanes here inside Anderson, Indiana for the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Championships. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee. Team Championships getting ready to get started here. We're going to crown a boys and girls champion. And Mike, if this team competition is anything as good as the singles, we're in for one heck of a day.
Well, we saw some great players in the singles matches, but now we get to see a lot more, but they're only impactful 2 frames a game. So, there's important parts to it, but it's a team deal, very exciting and fast-paced.
Baker competition, the difference between regular team bowling and Baker.
Regular team, everybody bowls a full game. In team bowling, Baker bowling, you're going to have the leadoff only gets to bowl the first and the 6th frame, next bowler's 2nd and 7th, 3rd and 8th, 4th and 9th, and then you got 5th and 10th. So how you finish is huge. How you lead off is big, too.
Well, in team competition, it's going to be fast and furious. We're going to try to do the best we can to call all the action as possible, but team event always so exciting. And the cool thing, like you said, it's not one individual in Baker can make a difference. It's the whole team. And
the coaches can make changes. So the starting 5 may not be how they finish. So. And it's kind of the coaches got to kind of feel, because they're going to come in and get practice. If you bring somebody in, you'll see those changes usually made in the 10th frame if a team is out of the wood a little bit or too far behind. So it's time to bring in a new player to see what they look like and if they can get lined up for the next game.
Well, players only get 2 shots a game. How critical is to get lined up as quick as possible?
Yeah, the practice balls are more important than at any time, and so is the talk amongst the players and the coach. They've all got to work together to figure the lanes out quickly.
Strategies for lineups. What do you think coaches are going to try to do to put the best lineup in?
Well, I think the leadoff is somebody who you can guarantee, if not a strike, at least a mark to get you started off on the right foot, to get the momentum going. Secondly is your anchor person, who's going to hopefully get 3 strikes in the 10th. So you need somebody who can finish and throw strikes, but also can handle the pressure, because the state championship can come down to that person.
Any advantage to being that top seed, you think?
Well, I think anytime you're the top seed, you don't have to worry about bad breaks for you or good breaks for your opponent to knock you out and not have a chance at the title. Noblesville and on the boys' side can sit there and wait and be ready and kind of focus, see how the lanes are breaking down, so they can kind of get a little bit of an idea what's happening as it's coming up. So it's going to be very important for them, to kind of watch a little bit so they can use that top seed to an advantage.
All right, we're going to kick it lane side here in just a couple of minutes here for Brian Petrie, our MC of the evening, to announce our team who will participate in the 2020
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Brian?
Let's meet your finalists for this year's 2020 state title. Start with the boys, the 4 seed, Carmel. Come here, and then you stand next to me, and then once you all get here, go straight ahead and make a big circle. All right, good luck to you guys. Carmel, go ahead.
I don't know if that camera got moved.
All right, your 3 seeds today, facing Carmel in the boys' final, the first final, Terre Haute South.
Does that make it better?
Okay, stay right here as soon as I get done with the girls. And the girls' 3 seed today, Hobart. Best of luck to you, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck. Your 2 seeds today, for the gentlemen, East Side. And the 2 seed for the ladies, Griffith. All right, best of luck to you both. Good luck. And your top seeds today, for the gentlemen, Noblesville. And the top seed for the ladies, Brownsburg. All right, best of luck to all 7 of our teams. Back to you, guys. Good luck, guys.
All right. Thanks, Brian, our MC of the day. and he gave you our announcements for our team competition, and a couple of, we're at least one familiar name in here from Griffith. Morgan Schoon looking to make it the double.
Yeah, no, she bowled tremendous this morning and won the singles girls state title, and she was excited. But it's hard to do that. I mean, it's hard to win the state title, then turn around, and I think they were throwing practice balls about 5 minutes after she got done winning the state championship, and then throws herself right into qualifying, trying to help her team to get there. But boy, here they are.
Well, Carmel will take on Terre Haute South in our first match on the boys' side. We're going to have the boys bowling by themselves here, and once we have a winner there, then the girls will have, that way we have 3 teams on each side. So it's going to be a little different here to start. We're going to have boys going first, and then once we find a winner in this first match, then the girls' matches will begin between Terre Haute North and Hobart. So, and we love when rosters come in with really nice handwriting.
Yeah. Good thing I wasn't filling those out.
You a doctor by trade?
No, but not a very good penmanship either, I can tell you that.
Oh, and here's the thing. Obviously we don't get a chance to talk to the coaches about pronunciation.
I knew you were going there. I just saw that.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I'm in trouble. Oh, boy. And the first one I look at is, and I'm looking at Carmel's roster, and there's a really long last name here, and
that's Chase.
I'm thinking Chase is going to be good enough.
Chase, yeah.
Chase O will end up being.
And we apologize for
we
that.
apologize.
Yeah, I just no idea.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's no
fair
shock.
to be that way than just totally get it incorrect.
Right. All right. We might be doing a lot of standing here too, Mike. I don't know.
I think most people are going to be standing because that's kind of how the team works. They're up. There's no sitting, that's for sure.
Well, our cameras are up above as high as we can get them, and we're going to hopefully give you the best look that we possibly can. And but again, in team competition, there's no sitting, and it's going to be all standing. All right, championship pairs for the boys and girls will be, the boys will be on 9 and 10, girls 7 and 8. And actually, we're going to have new winners on both sides for both singles and team. As you remember, Ben Davis won back-to-back years last year on the boys' side, and so we got new teams taking their shot at trying to win a state crown.
Yeah, they're a very important phase right now, and that's practice, getting lined up and seeing how the lanes have changed since they started earlier. This is a pair we used this morning for the singles, I believe, but it's been stripped and re-oiled, so totally new condition for them. So got to get used to it and see how the oil's going to change for them, what equipment we need to throw, where we want to play on the lane. A lot of decisions to be made here in just a short 10 minutes.
Baker is such a different type of bowling, and you want to describe for the listener a little bit of how this is going to be done here and conducted. So,
yeah, I mean, when you start out, you're going to have a bowler shoot the leadoff bowler is going to bowl the first and the sixth frame. Then your second bowler bowls 2 and 7, third frame and eighth frame, fourth frame and ninth frame. Then of course your anchor bowler is going to bowl the fifth frame and the 10th frame, which they have an opportunity to hopefully get 3 strikes in the 10th. But being the fifth bowler, you're also in the fifth frame where it may not seem like much, but that's an opportunity hopefully where your number one bowler, the fifth seed, or the fifth bowler is going to get a strike in the fifth and then your leadoff bowler who's going to get you going, hopefully get that key double in the middle of the game.
Yeah, you definitely want to put a real strong player at your anchor spot because obviously you have an extra frame there in the 10th frame. And as we've seen in singles, a lot of games come down to the 9th and 10th frames.
Yeah, especially in Baker, and there's a lot of pressure down there, especially when you're going for state championships. And but that's why they're there, and they the coaches realized throughout. And I think if you think about it, probably the anchor bowler's been your anchor bowler for most of the season, unless you've got a couple of high caliber players that can be interchangeable.
Okay, Carmel and Terre Haute South. Laura Barbour and Scott Barbour are your coaches for Terre Haute South, and Mike Ayler and Carl Karen are your coaches for Carmel. And Mike Ayler, his son Grant bowled for Carmel his entire 4-year career. Gave it a run in one of the state singles championships, came up short, but's having a pretty successful career in college. And nice to see Mike, even though his son is done with high school, is still out there participating as a coach.
We have an awful lot of dedicated coaches throughout, not only Carmel, but throughout the state. And, very fortunate, earlier the coaches were called out on the approach and were given a standing ovation, not only in the singles competition, but in the team competition. And our proprietor here, Dave Small, invited them all out there to get their accolades, and well-deserved.
Well, and like you said, though, these are volunteers. They don't get paid, right? They're doing it because they love the sport and they love the kids, and giving them an opportunity to and a lot of these kids, some will go on and maybe bowl competitively for a career, and others are going to go on and to have professional careers in whatever line of work they decide. But, you have your Matt Sanders and your E.J. Tackett's from Indiana that have gone on to have some success professionally, and of course E.J. is considered one of the top 3 or 4 players on tour, and it's great to see a springboard for these kids as they move on.
Yeah, and we're fortunate here in Indiana, thanks to yourself and Chad and Savage Bowling, and to help give us a platform where these kids can be seen. Not just by there are a few college coaches here in the audience, so they're scouting for players, but here by doing this, we got coaches who can see it from all over the country, if not farther. But so this gives them an opportunity to be seen outside of here, and you're seeing Indiana, all across the country in different levels of bowling being recognized.
Well, looks like Casey, Chase, Chris, Dalton, and Tyler. If you're familiar with Carmel, that's Casey Sauce and Chase. We're not even going to try Chase O. We apologize. Handwriting a little sketchy, but I don't want to totally brutalize a last name. But Chris Mace, Dalton Grubbs, and Tyler Smith for Carmel. And it looks like that's going to be their order for Terre Haute South. Devin Hunt, Isaiah Negron, Aiden Fellows, John Barbour, and David Hayes are your 5 guys for Terre Haute South. And then, so it should be exciting. Again, we have 4 boys teams and we have 3 girls. So we'll have 1 boys match. Oh, we have a girl in there.
That's Carmel, yep.
Carmel, let me see here. I wonder which one.
Casey. It may be Casey. I'm not sure.
Casey, yeah. We apologize. There are a few teams I did notice while we were I was filming some stuff before team event happened, but there were several teams that had a girl bowling on their team, and that puts them automatically on the boys' side. But it's great to see, sometimes high schools don't have enough girls to participate, and they end up bowling on the guys' team. And you know what? A lot of them hold their own.
Well, watching her bowl down there for Carmel, that first shot looked like a similar angle we saw in our singles with O'Neill, and she's playing the lanes very similar. So we'll see how that plays out. And they didn't get to the state finals if there was a weak link in their team. So
no, and obviously viewers, we apologize. We don't get anything ahead of time as far as rosters and who is who and pronunciations and all that. We are kind of flying by the seat of our pants here, and we'll do the best job we possibly can. And it's a privilege and an honor to be here broadcasting the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Finals here from Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee. Want to thank our sponsors, Motive Bowling, Storm Bowling, and Brunswick. I want to thank the companies there for their participation to make this broadcast possible here on Savage Bowling TV. If you like watching bowling, become a subscriber to Savage Bowling TV. All kinds of tournaments and videos and so forth. Become a subscriber. Go on there, click subscribe, and we appreciate you watching all of our bowling coverage that we have throughout the state. We'll have, not only do we do the high school state championships here, but in June we'll probably be doing the Indiana-Kentucky All-Stars from Kentucky. So we look forward to doing that too as well. So a lot more high school coverage coming up later on this year.
Another great opportunity for these kids to be seen and add another piece to their resume for these college coaches to take a look at. And it's one thing to have it written down; it's another thing to be able to look at it visually. As we talked about in the singles, there was a couple opportunities where some of the good bowlers didn't get to the title match, but they performed well in clutch, and those things a coach looks for. How does the person handle that pressure in a 10th frame, and they displayed it very well in all the matches.
Well, and I noticed someone in the crowd here this morning, Jesse Gibson, who our runner-up last week in the Indiana State Masters. Well, he's coaching for Vincennes. He was here recruiting, checking out some of the players, and nice to see Jesse in the crowd watching high school bowling here. And obviously, he's got a vested interest in what he's watching out there, and an opportunity for some kids to get some scholarships potentially.
Well, this type of live action you can't duplicate anywhere else. You can't do a practice session and expect to see what you see today. So when it's under pressure and a big title like the state championship is on the line, your school's behind you, your fans and your parents, there's a lot of pressure out there. So it's great to see how the camaraderie and the sportsmanship is like no other, and it's fun to be a part of and watch.
Well, we're going to, again, preface this broadcast with fasten your seatbelts. Get ready to see some of the fastest-paced bowling you'll ever see. A lot of cheering, a lot of high fives, a lot of excitement. And if it lives up to any of the past tournaments that we've been involved with, it's going to be really exciting.
Oh, I agree. And watching them down there so far, I mean, it's amazing how quiet it is now compared to what it was about probably 30 minutes ago.
Well, and one thing I'm curious to see, Mike, as this progresses is in singles. Remember the trouble that the players had was the 210 combination on the right side, and how will those players be able to keep their angles tight and stay out of trouble? Because in Bakers, open frames are critical when it comes to trying to advance into the next match.
Well, not only that, but in the singles, obviously there's only two people on the lane, so they're not necessarily covering a whole wide range of the surface. Now you've got 10 players, at least 10 players out there, and not all of them are going to be throwing tracer shots over the same spot, each one of them. So the lanes are going to break down and change totally differently than in the singles.
How important is communication going to be between these players and coaches?
Yeah, and the coach has a big job here of trying to make sure that they're all on the same page of what they're trying to do. So he's they have to watch each player, including the backups or the subs, to make sure that everybody's all on the same page and know where they need to be playing. And when it changes.
Right. Looks like we're getting ready to get started here between Terre Haute South and Carmel. Terre Haute South in the burgundy-colored shirts. Carmel in the familiar blue and yellow, blue and gold.
Not bad for a non-Carmel resident there. That knew that gold.
Yeah. Right. I'm a Purdue alum. I know all about that old gold and black. But Carmel Greyhounds, not only do they have a really good bowling program right now, but they've always been good in high school basketball and football. Some really good sports. The home of the roundabouts, right, Carmel?
Yes, it is. Worldwide. Worldwide.
I don't know if there's an intersection that doesn't have a roundabout in Carmel.
I'll say one thing: living there, they work. You don't sit and stop at a stop sign for a long time. So they do work. Just drive defensively. Trust me.
Once you're in the circle, try to get out. Right? Is that your?
Follow the arrow.
Excuse me there. Well, it looks like we're about to start. And we are. First shot of the day for Terre Haute South. Devin Hunt.
There's that 210 you talked about, 2-8-10.
Yes. And now we're going to get our first look at Casey here for Carmel.
Great break, breaking down to 7, leaving only 10. 2-8-10, getting the 2. Almost got a good kick out of the back, but that's what you're looking for on that first one. You leave the 2-8-10, get that count, don't lose any wood.
Well, that 210 combination of some sort reared its ugly head early, didn't it?
That's a characteristic we've seen all day on this pair.
Second shot for Terre Haute South, Isaiah Negron. And now Casey looking for the spare.
Good speed, good spare. I don't see any players on the bench for Carmel. Looks like 5.
Looks like that's what they have. That's all that's on their roster, too, doesn't it?
It is.
And now Chase going Brooklyn, leaving just the 5-pin. Now the spare attempt here for Terre Haute South, and Isaiah covers it. And now Chase will look to cover the 5-pin spare for Carmel.
Spares seem to be much more important in the Baker system than any of the other, just because it's so hard to, get strikes and doubles especially. But there's a crucial miss by Carmel early on a makeable spare. Now it's up to the next player to pick up the pace and get him back on.
Well, it's important to keep your energy level pretty flat, right? You just kind of keep it level, try to not get too high or get too low.
Yeah, and if you notice, it's very quiet, which is odd for this format. We've seen a lot of excitement so far. Great shot. There we go.
Yeah, that would be
I think it's those first frame where you just kind of got to get into the flow a little bit and get things moving.
Chris Mace there with the strike for Carmel. And again, we apologize if we mispronounced anyone's last name.
Tough break, chopping the 6 off the 10 for Terre Haute.
That was Aiden Fellows there with the open for Terre Haute South. And now that'll bring up Dalton Grubbs for Carmel here, working on a strike, 4th frame. This is 2-game total pin Baker match. And right through the face, 6-7-10. Already seen a couple of two-handed styles. Nice strike there.
Perfect.
From John. Mom and Dad coaching.
That's a great setup shot. Now they got the anchor coming up, David Hayes, and see if he can put that first double together.
I believe David Hayes was in the Indiana-Kentucky All-Stars, if I remember correctly, back in June of last year. Important here to get 2 pins.
Good attempt, good attempt.
Don't want to give too many pins away, especially on a strike. 2 means 4.
Yeah. Great shot. Beautiful shot. That first double, adding to their lead.
David is a solid player for Terre Haute South.
Great shot. Now back to their leadoff, so this is another opportunity to put 3 in a row together. Another 2-hander for Carmel.
Tyler Smith going cross lane for a 5-pin here. Just underway of game number 1, 5th frame. Girls will not bowl until the next round. They only have 3 teams here, so we're going to try to keep both the boys and the girls even here. Wide right. 1-2-4 for Terre Haute South.
We'll take that rather than the first frame we bowled, leaving the 2-8-10. So makeable spare. A little softer with the, with the speed and the hand action, and ball just not making a flip on the back, not making a move.
Good cover there from Tyler. Now it's a situation where you don't want to fall too far behind in game number one. You got a lot of pins to make up.
Yeah, it's in tough break. Yeah, tough break missing that spare for Devin Hunt. And that's when we talk about how important the fill and frames are, because you do not want to let your opponent back in. And let's see where Carmel can, if they can take a step forward here and put a strike on the board and start putting some heat on Terre Haute South.
Coming in light is Casey, leaving the 2-5.
This is wide.
Oh,
big break.
Fortunate to leave just the 8-pin.
You can see the varying amount of different ways everybody's throwing the ball. You got two hitters with a lot of revolution, straight, hard. There's a little bit of everything, so you can only imagine what that oil pattern's starting to do.
Well, Casey going to try to pick up her spare here on the 2-5 in the 6th frame. Carmel with a lead early. Oh, and she chops the 2 off the 5. And that's going to keep this match awful close. I believe that is 83 in the 6th for Carmel. They now trail by 8.
Good spare.
Right. All spares are important right now.
Gave her room.
Oh.
Beautiful shot.
Nice strike there for Chase. Big strike for the Greyhounds. Looks like we have 93 in the 7th for Carmel and 101 in the 7th. I'm not sure why. It should be 91 in the 6th. I don't know why there's a score there. They haven't bowled the next frame yet. Comes in through the, ooh. Boy, right now Terre Haute South cannot avoid disaster on. Good break there for Carmel as Chris just leaves the 2-pin.
And it's very difficult on the bowlers. They're getting to throw 2 shots an entire game, and there's time between, about 4 or 5, 10 minutes between shots, so it's difficult.
Mistake there of not getting 2. Open frame once again for Terre Haute South. They have 115 in the 8th frame.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and an open frame for Carmel. 111, 4-pin lead for Terre Haute South. And just like that, you thought advantage Carmel, and it goes right back into Terre Haute South's favor.
Good shot.
Nice shot there by John, the coach's son, John Babur, and across the head pin there. Right now, you kind of feel like nerves have kind of taken over from both teams.
Yeah, it's almost you get to the point where it's a snowball rolling down the hill, and it becomes a bigger snowball as you go down, and it's almost like you need to get together and say, look, guys, settle down. That's one shot at a time. Once the ball's out of your hand, it's history. You can't change it. Let's take it just one shot at a time. Dial everything back.
115 with a spare in the 9th in the 8th frame for Terre Haute South, and their anchor bowler, David Hayes, getting ready to get up. Carmel right now has 111 in the 8th with a potential spare here in the 9th, and now Dalton Grubbs opens.
That's a tough spare. That's a tough spare.
And now we have 120 in the 9th. Now momentum swings right back in the favor of Terre Haute South. Remember, folks, these teams bowled extremely well to get here. 3-pin for David Hayes. And let's keep in mind, now no team was plus. Obviously, Baker bowling is much more difficult than just individual games. You could have 1 or 2 players carry a team, but not in Baker's. All 5 guys or gals have to be lined up.
And the spare shooting is hugely important. Big break out of Carmel there. Tyler Smith. going away, but he'll take that for sure. Here's a chance to get a double.
Well, he could shoot. Carmel could shoot 150. Spare strike. Terre Haute South could shoot 154. So a lot left to be decided right now.
Oh, great break on it. Tyler Smith with that trip four for a double. That's a lot of wood when you can get that double in the 10th frame.
Big crowd in here, Mike, for team event.
Chad will agree with you.
Real estate's really expensive in here right now.
Wow, nice shot. Nice shot. Good finish.
Terre Haute shoots 154 game one.
.146 for Carmel. And we can find that 8 pins all over the place on both sides.
Yes.
You know, that shows you how difficult the Baker is. I mean, it's tough to get momentum. It's tough to build on shots one time after another. I mean, when you got 5 different players throwing shots, it's just so hard to get any kind of string or any kind of momentum going. So that's why it's so important to fill those frames, because every time you open, you kill a lot of momentum. And not that they're trying to do that, but it's just hard, and it's hard.
Yeah. Well, and again, it takes 5 players performing at a very high level to shoot a good game in Bakers.
Yeah, and I think just like I said, there was a lot of nerves out there and just getting it going. And they took a break after they got done with qualifying, so it's like restarting again. Now it's just you out there with a pretty good sized crowd back here watching. So, and a state title on the line.
All right, we'll see if anybody makes a lineup change. Obviously, Carmel, they can't bring anybody new in, but they can move people around if they need to do so.
Yeah, I don't know how you make a change off that. I think you kind of stick where you're at.
Oh, flat 10 for Casey for Carmel in frame number 1 here. And the 2-4-5 for Devon and Terre Haute South.
Now they switched lanes, so it's been a big difference since they practiced on those lanes. So now it's trying to get lined up again. It is continually to challenge both teams.
Good cover.
Good spare. And this is where it's at in this last game, because we're only 8 pins different, so it's filling frames.
Obviously, filling frames is going to be the key, I think. Yeah. Whoever does the better job of that's probably going to win this match.
Good spare. But I'll tell you what, that so far in that first game, Terre Haute South, 4 and 5 on Terre Haute South, has a lot of potential this game.
Oh, good shot there from Chase for Carmel. Another 4-pin. He had that open frame in frame number 1 of his in the first game, and he's been pretty solid around the pocket. Got to strike his second ball, and now
he's made good shots.
Right here with the 4-pin. And the late trip of the 10. Isaiah
probably
with the strike.
Yeah, Isaiah probably the softest speed of anybody on the pair, but you got a good break crossing over and getting the strike. Good spare. Both teams off to filling frames, just like they need to do.
Well, we're off to a much better start this game than we were the first game. I want to thank everyone watching here on Savage Bowling TV. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee, bringing you all the action inside championship lanes.
Oh. Not a bad shot. I mean, he gave it room, gave it a chance, but as we've seen, that 2-10 combination has been hard. This is makeable. It's not easy, but it's makeable. Once again, only being up 8, you got to be careful of your count here on a strike. Like you said, it's double.
Oh,
great shot!
What a spare!
Those are the things that make it. Look at got the competition going. The blood's flowing now.
That's like the 3-point shot in basketball.
Yeah.
You know, you hit a big one, and that seems to really spark the team, doesn't it?
Carmel had a timeout. That's where you call it.
Good spare coverage there for Carmel and Chris. And now we go to the 4th bowler for Terre Haute South. And here's John's attempt here, working on a spare. 4th frame. Oh!
Nice shot.
See, now all of a sudden, we see some life in the players and then the fans in the back, too, as well.
And here we are at 4 and 5, because this is where the power of the Terre Haute South team is.
And now Carmel, Dalton Grubbs, right lane, 4th frame, working on a spare.
Beautiful shot.
Just a 2-pin game here. Remember, Terre Haute South has an 8-pin lead overall. That lead has increased to 10. Now, anchor bowler David Hayes.
Good speed. Oh, through the face. Good job of breaking it down, though, leaving a 6-pin, which is makeable.
Now, Tyler Smith for Carmel. Working on a strike, 5th frame.
It's in.
Both anchor bowlers missing in their respective frames in big-time situations.
Yeah, those are big opportunities for both of them. You know, Carmel, you know, Tyler Smith not giving the ball enough room, but, you know, makeable spare, but it's going to be hard coming from that angle.
Now David Hayes with the spare attempt. Oh, my goodness, and he misses the 6-pin. Boy, that is painful. Huge opportunity now for the Greyhounds.
It's in again.
Oh, my goodness, and then their anchor bowler opens.
Yeah, Tyler's just not getting the ball to the right or getting it out, giving it room. With that much power and that much revolution, you've got to give it some room to the right. 5 frames to go.
Oh,
here we go.
What a break for Devin Hunt and Terre Haute South. And 6-pin game here, but more importantly, a 14-pin lead for Terre Haute South. And Casey goes right through the face. Fortunate to leave just the 6-10. But frames are running out for Carmel.
Yeah, each one of these frames is now the last frame that this bowler will bowl.
Now here's Isaiah.
Even the 2-8.
Important for Terre Haute South to keep marking and forcing Carmel to figure out a way to strike.
Yeah. At this point, we haven't had a double, so I think it's more about the spares for sure. Soft speed, he's lost that one.
Oh, my goodness.
Difficult spare, the 2-8, because you got to hit it hard enough to make sure you get to the 8.
That one's wide right, and
it's more double wood. 1-5 this time.
The 1-5 you don't see very often, as Chase now has his hands full. But right after a huge opening by Terre Haute South, and now here comes the 3rd bowler, Aiden Fellows, for Terre Haute South. And he struck in the 4th. And he goes through the face 3, 6, 9, 10. Something you really don't want to shoot at.
Yeah, there's some tough spares out there. It's just everybody's you can tell, a little tight, not letting the ball out, letting the ball do all the work.
Oh, and another open frame for Carmel. Right now, neither team can get settled in, and the frames go by at a rapid pace. Nice spare there by Aiden.
He's had a couple of really tough ones at 2-4-10 as well. Double wood again. 3-9.
3-9, and boy, Carmel is.
Nobody's making it easy on themselves.
No.
But here's the power of the team for Terre Haute South. It's number 4 and number 5.
Now here's John, the coach's son, bowling in the 4th spot, 9th frame. Ooh, fortunate to leave just the 3. 10 fell late. Good break there for Terre Haute South. Right now they have 133 in the 8th.
That's a
Nice
big spare.
spare.
Big spare.
Carmel has 109 in the 7th. So just a 4-pin difference in this game. However, Terre Haute South has an 8-pin lead overall, so 12 pins here that Carmel has to figure out a way to make up. And if you're Carmel, David Hayes, who just missed a 6-pin earlier in this match, that's the guy they would one up here in this situation, and that's why he's bowling 5 for Terre Haute South. Big shot here for Carmel. 6-pin. Not over yet, though.
Now, that would have been a big one there, but, yeah, we still have an opportunity depending on what happens here. Great shot.
What a shot.
Yeah. Good
Boy.
shot, but got great pin action slicing out that 4.
David's got some.
Good ball speed.
He's got really firm ball speed, but there's a lot more hand there than what you think. And that's pretty much going to do things in for Carmel as Terre Haute South is going to advance. Terre Haute South can strike out for 183. The most Carmel can shoot, I believe, is 189, but that's not going to be enough. Oh, and a trip of the 4 late. And David Hayes has tripping the 4 down to a science right now.
Good finish, though. Good finish.
And that's going to do Carmel in, and Terre Haute South will advance to take on Eastside in our next round. And that's going to bring the girls in here as soon as the boys are done with this game. And we got Deadwood on lane 10.
181 for Terre Haute South.
Well, they shoot 335. Now bring on the action.
Yeah, multiply those times 2 now. Carmel still waiting on the Deadwood to complete the game.
Well, I guess there is a.
There is. There's two, they had 2 guys down there warming up.
We didn't have them on our roster sheet. I believe he said Taylor's going to come in the 10th frame. And it's always kind of nice. Coaches trying to get other players some action here for the state championship here. You know, a lot of these kids put in a lot of time and work and energy to get to this point, and you try to get all the kids some participation here. All right, finally got the Deadwood cleaned up. Carmel will go for the spare. We're still in the 9th frame on their side. Terre Haute South is done. 181, their game 2 score for a 335 total. The match has been decided, just waiting on the final score. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee here. 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Finals. We're in the team portion of the state championship. Singles were decided earlier this morning. Morgan Schoon from Griffith wins the girls state championship, and Evan Davis winning the boys side. And now we're in the team portion. Match number 1 of the boys has almost concluded. We're waiting on the final tally here. 10th frame being completed for Carmel and Brunswick. Bowling, Storm Bowling, and Motive Bowling. I want to thank them for their sponsorships here of the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Finals. Also want to thank Angie Collop, Dave Small, and the entire staff here at Championship Lanes. Another phenomenal job hosting the state championship, and
great job. They do a wonderful job here. You know, all the different high-level events they have, and it's always great to return.
a lot of work and time and energy.
A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that you don't see, but they're in there working hard, and that's what makes it so much fun to come here and not have to worry about that. They've got it all under control.
All right, Carmel has completed their game. Steve Kunkel making his way out. He is the director of Indiana High School Bowling. 154 total for Carmel.
Hobart and Griffith, your lanes are now ready for 10 minutes of practice.
And now Terre Haute South will take on Eastside, and Terre Haute North is taking on Hobart here on the girls' side. And looks like we have Casey Ballar, Eve Claywater, Isabella Siselski, Rihanna Borowski, Angel Millsap, and will be the 5 girls bowling for Hobart. Alexis Soto and Kylie Kearing is on the bench ready to come in if needed. And we're just waiting on rosters for Griffith on the girls' side, and then Eastside will be coming in on the boys' side, and once they do that, we'll get their practice underway. Actually, check that. They have Terre Haute North on the girls' side. It's actually Hobart and Griffith, correct? Yes. I don't know why Terre Haute North is on. Good eyes there. Well, we had our sheet was all wrong, wasn't it?
I was thinking we had an extra game.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. No, it's actually Terre Haute North finished 4th on the girls' side. They had them on the sheet for some reason. And it's almost like
it's
Ron.
a curveball. They just want to give us a little thought.
It's almost like Ron Burgundy on Anchorman. He'll read anything on the teleprompter, won't he? You put something in front of me, Mike. I guess I'll read it.
Well, see, I've been looking at that for about 35 minutes, so I just want to bring it up now.
Oh, all right. So what are they trying to do to us back here?
Yeah.
All right, our apologies. Hobart will be bowling Griffith. We're waiting on Griffith's roster, and we're waiting on Eastside's roster. And
Terre Haute North, actually, they only missed by 26 pins of getting into this. So, I mean, they had obviously a good run, and sorry to fake out all those Terre Haute North fans.
Oh, yeah, our apology.
But, yeah, they were very close. Like I said, and as you can see in the first Baker's match, I mean, 26 pins is nothing.
Right.
It's a couple of spares. And
absolutely.
And that's that first match we watched, between Carmel and Terre Haute South. I mean, Terre Haute South the one player made 2 tremendous spares, 2-4-10 and a 3-6-9-10 spare, which those are the game. You miss both those, and it's a different form. It's a different winner.
Yeah, and you're looking here at the scoring, and Bluffton just missed making the stepladder finals by 18 pins. Centerville was just 2 pins behind Bluffton So really 20 pins separated 3 teams there. And like you're saying, that's just a couple of – and 12 Baker games.
12 of those Baker games they
Yeah.
bowled this morning. Yeah,
A
this
couple of
afternoon.
marks, and that's the difference between making it and not. On the girls' side, like you said, Hobart beat Terre Haute North by 26. Then there was a pretty large gap in between 4th and 5th there. Crown Point finishing 5th. Other finishers for the girls' side, in 6th was Greenfield Central. 7th was Elkhart Memorial, and DeKalb was in 8th. On the boys' side, 5th was Bluffton, 6th was Centerville, Connorsville in 7th, Griffith in 8th, Richmond in 9th, Penn in 10th, LaPorte in 11th, and McCutcheon out of Lafayette was 12th. All right. Again, we're teams are conducting practice shots here, but I'm not sure why Eastside is not warming up.
There they go. Now they're starting.
All right, they get so many minutes on each lane. Chad is telling me. That's what we're assuming. I figured you'd get a couple of balls on each lane. Typically, if you're warming, if you have a warm-up pair,
I guess
right?
it depends how many. It just depends how many players they have on the roster. So I mean, if you give per player, then it's an advantage for another team over another.
All right.
If you got an extra player or two, a couple extra shots could tip your whole team off on how you're going to play them. So the time frame makes a little more sense, but and I'm not sure if there's a limit to the total number of roster that you can have out here.
All right. Again, we have, boy, I still feel bad about sitting here calling out Terre Haute North. Anyway, we'll get all this straightened out, right, sooner or later. All right. Eastside practicing. Now we got their roster here. Doing some undercover work, huh? Moving some things around. We had them the whole time. Brian Miller, Alex Rickman, Chase Halbert, Austin Wilson, and Dominic White, I believe, for Eastside. And Mike, you want to give a go here at the Griffith girls?
Oh, thank you. Griffith girls roster: Elizabeth Lawson, Chelsea Matthews, Allison Lawson, Aubrey Silvalar.
Spielar.
Oh, yeah, now there you why you wouldn't want to do that one. And then our state singles champion Morgan Schoon, and Brianna Langle and Olivia Flores.
Okay. Allison, Aubrey, her dad was here. Mike Vilar was bowling the state masters here. He didn't make the match play portion of it, but talented bowler from the regional area. Obviously, Griffith in that northwest corner of the state. And be interesting to see here how Morgan can help her team navigate through this match and see if she can't win the double here.
Well, she's listed where she should be, and that's the anchor spot, number 5. So she'll be doing a lot of the heavy lifting out there in the 10th frame, trying to get as many pins as you can get there. But she's got some experience out there on the pair. Even though they've been stripped and re-oiled, the characteristics should be similar, and she knows what to expect with the pressure, and all the people are back there watching.
Again, thank you for watching the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Finals here on Savage Bowling TV. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee in the broadcast booth. And game number 1, or match number 1, completed for the boys. There were 4 boys in the step ladder final, only 3 girls teams. So the boys had to bowl 1 match before the girls started. So that way we kind of have them evened up here. And now Eastside warming up, as well as Griffith and Hobart. Sean Soselski running a center up in the Valparaiso area for Hobart. And Sean, a talented bowler himself, now coaching his daughter's team. It's amazing how when you have a child in a sport, how dads always get wrapped into coaching, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a difficult situation for the relationship, whether it's father-daughter, father-son. As we saw earlier today, we saw PBA great and pro and Hoosier native Ronnie Russell and his freshman son in the singles this morning.
Caden?
Yeah, and it's a difficult situation, you know, especially when you look someone who was as talented as Ronnie, you know, and your son out there. Sometimes it's you know, it's tough to correlate. And, you know, so I know Ronnie's trying to stay back and just watch and enjoy his son bowling. And it was nice the PBA let him out of the Pro-Am today and from Jonesboro, Arkansas, so he could come up and watch his son play in the state. So it was great to see Ronnie today and wish him the best of luck the rest of the tour. And his son was very respectable, not only to get here, but I believe he was close to the top 10 or 12. So I had an opportunity to get close.
Yeah, and Caden, a two-handed style player and only a freshman, so he's got 3 more years of opportunity to try to claim that singles or title state crown. And obviously, you know, one thing that's always hard when you have a really talented father or even sibling that, you know, you got big shoes to fill and you don't try to put any pressure on yourself or even the father, you know, of that. It's just like Zach Tackett and EJ Tackett, you know, the brothers. You know, it's hard to live up to EJ's expectations when you're Zach, and
there's enough pressure.
Can be tough,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's enough pressure anyway, and it's really difficult to live in those shoes. And you know, between the Dick Weber and Pete Weber, and you know, it's just all those things make it even more difficult, especially in a single sport. But you know, it's Ronnie, I think, does a great job, and it's another great star that we're fortunate to have up from Indiana.
All right, looks like we do have a little bit of a lineup change for Terre Haute South. Derek Hudgens will be coming in bowling second for Terre Haute South. Isaiah Negron, Aiden Fellows, John Barber, and David Hayes are your bowlers for Terre Haute South this round. And it looks like practice has concluded. And we're going to get ready to start here.
I think I recognize that voice from earlier. Maybe it was that one.
The girls emphatically cheer a lot.
Yes.
They are really into it.
But that's what makes it so exciting, I'll tell you.
And that first shot for the girls for Griffith. Comes in high. Oh, trips the 9 late, leaving just the 4-7. Good break there for Elizabeth Lawson.
That first shot's always difficult. Pulls that one across her body and just gets 3 off the left. She's conferring with the rest of the group. Settle her down and just get Casey back out there and get that spare.
Well, and I remember bowling for Purdue. You know, there's times in a really tough situation, it's hard to pry the ball off your hand. You want to let go of it, and it just doesn't want to come off.
You want to do as little thinking as possible. You've already done all that preparation, so just let your body do all that. Great spare, great comeback. Good job by her coach and teammates to get her to settle her down after that first shot and make a great shot to get a spare, which takes the lead right out of the gate.
All right, we're going to let a lot of the action call itself. We'll try to chime in here as it's going to be fast and furious now with both girls and boys bowling at the same time. Good spare there for Eastside.
Beautiful shot, bad break. What a great ball, solid 9.
Important to fill frames, force your opponents to strike to go around you. Nice spare there for Terre Haute South. Boy, we're seeing some tough spare conversions
Unbelievable.
already early on in both the boys and the girls matches. 9-pin conversion here for Eve here in the second frame for Griffith. Or excuse me, Hobart.
Oh, great break, tripping that 2 out.
Derek Hudgens comes right off the bench.
Yeah, that makes the coach look good, doesn't it? That was a great job. Great job.
Spare for Eastside. And as you can tell, players really get into this Team Baker style format. Now the coach's son, Staselski, left lane for Hobart. Coming in high, 3-10.
Beautiful shot.
Now we're seeing some strikes here, Mike, from several of the teams. And
Aubrey just set up the state champion, Morgan Schoon. She'll have a chance to get a double for Griffith.
there on the side for Terre Haute South, another strike. That's a double for Terre Haute. Now Eastside looking to match. 6-10.
Wow. Morgan right where she left off in that state match.
She
Perfect
did.
shot.
Absolutely. She did a lot of that in her match. Boy, the lineup change has certainly sparked some energy here for Terre Haute South.
Yeah, and there's their number 4 player, sets up number 5, Hayes, and that's that to me, that was their strong suit, 4 and 5 for Terre Haute South.
3-bagger for Griffith ends the streak with a 2-pin from their leadoff bowler, Elizabeth Lawson. Now David Hayes, the anchor bowler for Terre Haute South, here in the 5th frame. 3-bagger.
Hobart, beautiful shot.
Boy, and he leaves a tough spare. The 2-4-8. Luckily, the 10 not with it. Now Eastside needing something here in the 5th to get working. Their anchor bowler comes in high, leaving the 3-pin. That would be Dominic.
Beautiful shot.
The anchor bowlers for their respective teams here on the girls' side letting their presence be known. Angel Millsap for Hobart.
Good job of Elizabeth to keep that momentum going after that turkey. As an anchor, making that spare, not to take the momentum away from Griffith.
Well, working on a spare here for Terre Haute South, but in the meantime, Hobart with a 3-bagger. Oh, a break late. Brooklyn strike for Griffith. And the girls are off to a strong start here on both sides. This is when too, Mike, you can't get too high too quick because you're going to need that energy late.
Yeah, it's tough to keep your A game going because it's so easy to overhit after you get that momentum going and blood flowing.
3-6-9-10 for Hobart. And a flat 10 for Griffith. Boys side right now, Terre Haute South with the lead early after that 3-bagger by their 2, 3, and 4 players. Now they're working on the spare in the 6th. Ooh, and nope, didn't like the feel. Boy, that's a hard thing to do.
I can't tell you how hard that is.
I'm going down with it.
Yeah, or you're getting hurt somehow, but yeah, that's a great feel that you're able to do that, but doesn't make this next shot any easier.
Oh. 3-6-9-10 not converted, 3-pin left. That is the 6-9-10 on lane 9 for Terre Haute South.
Nice
Way to
job.
regroup
Nice
there
job,
after
yeah. Good
after
job.
the balk. Not an easy thing to do. Just the 3-pin for Soselski there and Hobart. Oh, open frame for Griffith. Hate to leave those single pin spares out there, don't you?
Yeah, there's a lot of tough spares out there too, and you want to keep filling, because as we've seen, they're hugely important.
156 in the 8th for Griffith. And if you're the girls on Griffith, you want to get as much as you can and set everything up for your anchor player who's been solid all day today.
Yeah, they've got a great game going in Baker.
Wrap 7 there for East Side.
He's the first left-hander we've seen on this championship round, correct?
Yeah, I believe you're right. Good spare there. Oh, and another missed corner pin for Griffith. And they're starting to fall apart here on spares. And
yeah, a lot of extra pressure on Morgan Oscoon, the state champion today, 2020 state champion in the girls, to get that. She's going to play the part of the leadoff person here and get that momentum back.
oh,
Good shot by Hobart.
5-pin didn't do its job on the 7. 189 still out there for Hobart. 195 the potential for Griffith. And now Megan Schoon going to work here in the 10th.
Good speed.
Oh, she
Great
leaves
shot.
the rip 7.
Good shot, though. Good shot.
Right now we're through 7 frames on East Side and Terre Haute. And wide right there for Terre Haute South, leaving just the 1-2.
Good spare by Morgan, Phil.
Pretty sure she wasn't going to miss that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so either, but I'll tell you what, the spares look tough out there today.
Well, you know, there's a lot of pressure on these kids.
Ton of pressure.
You know, you got the TV cameras behind you, and
everybody wants to strike. When you don't get the strike, then you got to make sure you keep your mental game going, take a deep breath, and make sure you cover it.
nice spare there for Terre Haute South. And right now, Mike, they got a clean game through 9. Something we didn't see in the previous match between Terre Haute South and Carmel.
And we saw earlier in the singles that a clean game was very important. Morgan fills 10.
That's 185, I believe, for Griffith. You know, they're from the same area up there in that northwest
Right, yep.
area, so kind of a little rival
I'm
probably.
sure they saw each other a few times, yep.
Oh, nice strike there for East Side. That's a double, and what a spare conversion for Hobart. Big one there for Angel Millsap. But right now, advantage Griffith in game number 1.
That's a big spare for Hobart, because that's one more spare you're not going to have to get the next game to catch up. So.
And John Barber with a 5-count washout in the 9th frame for Terre Haute South. 193 possible for East Side. Oh, he gets 4 the hard way. But that's going to be an open frame, 175 in the 9th. But still, they have control of this game. And that's what David Hayes has to realize, right?
Yeah, just keep adding to that lead.
165 for Hobart. 20-pin lead for Griffith after game number 1. They'll flip-flop lanes. Bowl game number 2, and after 2, whoever has the most pins advances.
Yeah, 20 pins is a good lead, but it can evaporate quick.
Now David Hayes.
4 pin. He's had a lot of those today.
He's been close, hasn't he? He's tripped a few. And that will, looks like with one of these on the 4, what it looks like, is that, actually that is the 8-10. He gets 1.
Yeah, I think it was like a 2-8-10 that broke down, so.
And that'll be 1 180, I believe, for Eastside, game number 1. Now David Hayes.
175.
Nope, 180.
180. Can't trust the scores.
Well, a good spare there for David Hayes. And with a good ball in the fill, they'll have a double-digit pin lead here going into game number 2. And
beautiful shot by Hobart.
strong start for Hobart here in game 2, and that's just what they needed, being down 20.
Yeah, and they're going to have Griffith that needs they got a tough spare at the 4-7-10. So that 20 pins evaporates quick.
Oh, nice strike there from David Hayes. And that'll give them 195. And they're going to have a 15-pin lead going into game number 2. Through the nose. Fortunate to leave just the 3-6. But again, if you're Hobart, fill frames. Now that Griffith has an open here, you've cut that deficit in half.
Well, you still have to, only being up 15 or 14, 20 pins, I mean, you have to come out aggressive. You can't come out and just play it safe if you're in the lead.
That needs to hook. Oh, and it does. Good cover. First, I wasn't sure, Mike. It looked like she missed right.
Yeah, she hit her speed down just right.
And Griffith comes right back with the spare in the third.
Eastside with a solid 9. How many times I bet you Noah from earlier from Noblesville with the solid 9s in the state singles. I mean, he'll be seeing those in his sleep. That pair just seems to leave those.
Oh, nice strike here in the fourth for Hobart. And the fans of Hobart love that one. It's loud in here, folks. And unfortunately, unlike Noah, that's a 9-pin conversion. And you're right, Noah will be thinking about those for a while. All right, Angel Millsap with just the 3-pin. Oh, and a chop of the 3 off the 6-10, and an open frame now in the 4th for Griffith, and this match has changed hands here just like that.
Yeah, they're in need of a strike here or something to get them turned around, get the momentum changed back. Because not only have they missed spares, but they've lost count too, which is adding up to even more.
Big spare here for Angel. Another 7-pin for Terre Haute South, and Hobart converts. And there's
beautiful shot.
And there's Morgan.
Beautiful shot. Great ball speed.
Some college out there, Mike's going to be real happy to secure her commitment, aren't they?
I agree, they should be. But she's made great moves today and bowled tremendously under pressure.
So far, when her team has needed it, she's delivered.
Yeah, all day. Big shot for Griffith here.
It doesn't quite get down.
Good
7-pin.
Good shot.
We've seen a lot of half 7s here for the righties. 5-pin not cooperating whatsoever.
No, it's getting out of there, but just not far enough.
Oh,
that ball bounced out.
Open frame for Griffith.
Yeah, that ball bounced out of the channel and picked that 10, so they'll have to take that off the board for Hobart. Griffith comes back misses that 7-pin. Terre Haute South still with the momentum.
Well, an open
They're
frame.
charging.
Right, open frame in the third for Eastside. Oh, that rips the rack. No
Plenty
doubter.
of power. Yeah, plenty of power on that ball. Great shot. East side. Big strike.
That's why you put the extra hand on the ball. That extra 4 or 5 revolutions that can provide showed up right there. John wide right leaving the rail. The 1, 2, 4, 7.
Great spare by Griffith.
Almost disaster for Dominic. Fortunate that the 10 messenger comes across, takes out the 10, leaves just the 7. And a good spare by Terre Haute South. Well, we're looking at the scores here, and right now, Eastside.
Beautiful shot by Griffith.
With the open, Terre Haute South with the big advantage right now, and Hobart opened in the 6th, as did Griffith. But right now, Hobart with the advantage. They have a 11, let's see, they're up 31, they're up 11 now.
Griffith has a strike working, though.
The anchor bowler, David Hayes, with the strike in the 5th for Terre Haute South, and now Hobart Siselski with just the 6-10. Griffith needing to get a double here. 3-6-10. Griffith right now running out of frames, but they're trying to get there for Morgan. Here's a big spare for Siselski and Hobart. They're down 20 coming in, but they've made that deficit up. Double for Terre Haute South. She chops.
Just a horrible break for Hobart.
Chops the 6 off the 10. Big spare now. And she totally misses the spare in the 9th frame. And Aubrey Svilar definitely disappointed in herself, but still a chance for Griffith as Morgan Schoon will come up in the 10th. And she leaves the bucket. The first shot we've seen not hit the head pin.
It's first one, yeah. First one she hasn't really hit the pocket on. Good spare by Hobart.
Good spare for Hobart.
Good spare.
This is coming down to the 10th frame right here. Big spare here for Morgan.
Beautiful
and she gets
spare.
it.
Beautiful spare.
Now, if you think about the match here, Morgan might want to just sit and wait and have a little bit of pressure maybe on Hobart's anchor bowler, Angel Millsap.
Yeah, I mean it's
3-6-10.
Yeah, spares are everything right now, so.
Well, right now, if Morgan gets a strike, Millsap, all she needs to do is mark in the 10th for Hobart to advance. Important shot here from Morgan first.
Great
high
shot.
flush.
Big speed.
So now,
and Hobart does not have an easy spare.
3-6-10 must be converted. Right now she has 159. Hobart, you add 20 pins to her score, they would have 161 essentially, right? She needs to make this. She missed it. They tied. We have a tie, folks. Hobart and Griffith tied. My, oh my. Wow. They have to do a good question. I think
that's what we're finding out now.
We're finding out what the protocol is here.
Yeah.
We've never had this happen.
No.
Meanwhile, on the boys' side, we have an open potential open frame here in the 10th, or the 9th frame for Terre Haute South. They did have the lead.
Big shot.
Huge strike there for Dominic and Eastside. Now it's important right now for Terre Haute South to get two, don't you think?
Yeah.
Don't give any pin count away.
Not at all.
Okay. Oh, it's a full game for a tiebreaker. All right, we're finding out from Brian Petrie, lane side, that it's going to be one full game tiebreaker.
Well, you talk about pressure now, but I think that reprieves all the girls who thought that they may have had a hand in the struggle, and gives them a second opportunity. And I think they're going to go out there, and we'll see. Coaches can ground them and get the girls ready to go again.
Well, they tie at 3:26. And
Hayes with a great shot.
huge shot there from David Hayes, the anchor bowler for Terre Haute. And I believe that's going to seal the deal for Terre Haute South.
Yeah, Eastside leaves a solid 9 there in the second ball in the 10th. Big shot, bad break. Great shots, though.
Right now, with no other balls, Terre Haute South has 184. They have remember, they had a 15-pin lead. So essentially, you would have had to be in the 190s to 2-0s for them to have a chance here.
It was a great match. I mean, both teams bowled very well.
And 185 the total for Eastside. They're going to shoot 365.
Trip for Hayes.
Terre Haute South finds themselves moving on to round number 3 against Noblesville.
And they've got a great, like I said, a great 4-5 combination there. I mean, they really do.
So Terre Haute South and Noblesville for the state championship on the boys' side. And we're going to have a bonus game of bowling between Hobart and Griffith. Nice bounce back for Terre Haute South. Remember, they only shot 335 in round number 1 in their first match. They come back to shoot 201.
There's a double right out of the get-go. Players 1 and 2 for Griffith.
396 for Terre Haute South.
Yeah, that's a great pair of Baker games there.
Now we're going to have a slight delay on the men's side as the girls will be bowling an extra game.
3 in a row for Griffith. Hobart started the game with an open, and Griffith comes out with 3 in a row, so they're setting the pace very quickly.
What a start for Griffith. Now, that's the advantage that you can get in Bakers, Mike. You can get out in front, and your opponents are watching
And
what they need to do.
Yeah, Griffith's putting the string there, putting the heat on them quick. And before Hobart could even look up, they're down, 30 or 40 pins here.
Oh, light mixer. And Aubrey with the strike here in the 4th for Griffith.
What a great comeback for Aubrey after missing that spare in the 9th frame at the end of the second game there, and looked tough, but here we are. Good
Nice
spare.
spare.
Good spare. That's it.
Still a lot of bowling left, right?
Yeah.
Now Morgan Schoon with the front 4, and she makes it the front 5.
This is like an exhibition game. My goodness, what a match.
And remember about, didn't we talk about Noah here for Noblesville?
Yes.
He can redeem himself right here as he's going to be bowling for the state championship on the boys' side. Be interested to see where he's going to be in the lineup for Noblesville. And Siselsky with the 4-7. That's wide right. That needs to hook. Ooh, an unusual combination there. The 1, 2, 5, 8, 9.
That's a cluster right in the middle. You keep that on play and hit that hit pin in the nose and get your spare and get out of there. Great run, though, 5 in a row. We do not get a chance to see those very often.
Boy,
not in Baker.
You're right. And, boy, this – and then when you're Hobart, you're looking right at the scoreboard. You can't help but notice what they're doing, right? And the body language shows. Now an open frame, though, here for Griffith. And really, I think if you're the coaching staff of Hobart, you need to probably say, hey, let's get some fire. And
yeah, you add a little more pressure, and then all of a sudden the momentum switches, and then it's not as easy for it to come off your hand. One thing about Griffith, though, they're already in their second half, so they're on the other side going downhill here. So breaks it down, single pin, make your spares.
Fortunate to leave just the 2. Now,
because Hobart's going to need strikes and some help getting back in it. They're going to need strikes, and they're going to need help from Griffith to get back in this.
Now Rhiannon Borowski needing to get something jump-started here for Hobart. That needs to get left, and it was too far left. 1-3-10. Not an easy spare.
No, not the way you're coming in at that angle. There's just too many ways to miss it, so it's a difficult one. Makeable, but it's difficult.
Boy, and the fast start by Griffith has really taken the air out of the sails of Hobart.
Well, not that there's not pressure in a sudden death game anyway, but you know when your opponent starts off to 5 in a row, I mean that just adds all that extra where there are must-strike shots coming up here already.
Oh, open frame for Hobart. And the body language not good.
No. They're over 60 pins ahead, Griffith is at this time. So they only have 3 frames to go, 2.5 frames to go. Griffith. Well, this is the 5th frame for Hobart.
Millsap, the anchor bowler, looking to get something going.
Good shot. Good shot.
Cannot get the 10 pin to fall. Hobart needing a miracle to happen here. 1, 2, 4, 7. Nice spare. And
that's what you got to do for Griffith. You just got to not give any reason for Hobart to think they have a chance here. And Hobart's got to get back in there by throwing a couple strikes and letting Griffith know they're still here.
And like you're saying, the problem is
good spare.
They're 3 frames behind on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Oh, and a light mixer.
Aubrey, great shot.
Aubrey's come right back after the 1 open frame in game number 2.
Good recovery.
She struck both times in this sudden death match, 1-game roll-off. And Hobart just can't get anything going.
Oh, breaks it down.
I think Morgan was a little bored. No pressure on that shot, right?
I think it's only the second time she's missed the pocket, I think.
Boy, and what an advantage that is for a team to have such a great player at the anchor spot.
Yeah, that gives a big lift to your teammates above you because you know that what you can count on with Morgan. And she showed you earlier in the singles, and she showed you today in the Baker systems as well.
Nice spare for.
She's a great team leader, you can tell.
Right now, I believe they could shoot 2 in the 2 teens. 200 is the max score for Hobart if they string the back 6 strikes.
Beautiful
and there's
shot
1.
There. Great shot.
But not enough as Griffith is going to advance to the state championship against Brownsburg. And Brownsburg will be looking, the Bulldogs will be looking for the state title, but Griffith standing in the way.
Hobart's had a great day. I mean, they bowled a great match. Just come down to 1 pin here or there, and we can all find those no matter who we are. And they bowled very well. The girls did.
Well, you had so many ups and downs in both of those games, and out of all of those, you come down to the very last one and you tie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
phenomenal. Yeah, it really is.
You're right back where you started, right?
Well, that shows you how important those shots are, especially on the splits where you're probably not going to pick it up, but you need to fill the count, and that's that tells you exactly that.
2:18 for Griffith. What a game when you needed it. Boy, in the front five frames.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important part and just the phenomenal part. And there was no lucky strikes in that bunch either. They put together 5 great shots. Hobart's going to be disappointed, but I'll tell you what, they're a great team.
All right, we're down into the 9th frame for Hobart. But unfortunately for the girls, this game has been decided. And a Brooklyn strike. And now Angel Millsap, the anchor bowler. Max score 180, but 218 for Griffith. That is the highest game of the entire team competition here on
and what a time
our
to
live
do it.
stream.
Yeah, what a time to do it.
When you needed it most.
You wonder how this affects Terre Haute South over there on the boys' side. You know, they had a couple of pretty good matches, a really good match this last one, scored really well, filled frames, and now they're taking an extra delay here. You know, they got to rebuild that momentum and get back into it.
Yeah, they coming up from the 4th seed. Excuse me, the 3rd seed. Carmel was the 4th, but looking to run the ladder.
Great tournament for Hobart. Good job today.
Nothing to be ashamed of. Obviously, they're going to be disappointed, but
Your semifinal scores: Griffith over Hobart, 544 to 486. Terre Haute South over East Side, 396 to 364. Front counter, if I could have set an 8-2 practice, please.
all right, Griffith will move on to take on the Lady Bulldogs of Brownsburg, and Terre Haute South advances to take on the Millers of Noblesville.
You know, as much as it's going to be a challenge for Terre Haute South to regain the momentum, it's going to be tough for Griffith to once again reload after such an exhausting and you know, satisfying win. But now you've got to reload because now this is the title match. So it's going to be tough to reload that fierce and fire and get back in there and get ready.
Well, I'm getting the rosters here for Noblesville, and Noah Tannenbaum is the 3rd bowler on Noblesville's team. They got Taylor Smith, Lena Tarswell, Noah Tannenbaum, James Sutton, and Nathan Smith. So we have another co-ed team here for Noblesville.
And Noah, you cannot, just like Morgan Schoon with Griffith, you can't underestimate what that means to have someone who's bowled already today on these pair lanes, has an idea how it's going to work, and be a leader for your team.
And now we're just waiting for practice to conclude for both Noblesville and Brownsburg on the TV pairs. Yeah, I think the rules on this is the past teams, they can actually practice on the warm-up pair, but they cannot throw any additional shots on the TV pair. So that's why you see Terre Haute South off to the side, warming up. Griffith could do the same exact thing here on lanes 3 and 4 right in front of us. So.
Yeah, see that's what I mean. It's gonna be hard for Griffith to. They just had an emotional match. So, you know, watching you got to see what's going on and what they're doing now. you'd like to see them starting to get in that mode to where they're focusing again. And it's hard because it was such an emotional win. So that the peaks and valleys that you hit are hard. You try to keep them more at an even pace. And so, you want to see them start to prepare now for that match that's going to be here in just a few minutes.
Well, and in Bakers, it goes by so fast. And as a player, you only get 2 shots a game.
Yeah, and you got to be ready for those 2. You can't just turn the switch on. So I think that's the challenge for Terre Haute South and for Griffith both to be ready now. Even though they bowled well all the way to this point, you got to start again because now you're bowling the number 1 seed.
Yeah, you got to reset the clock.
Yeah.
And one thing that I always felt too, bowling Bakers in college, that even though you're only bowling 2 shots, mentally, and that break in between shots, right? I felt them more demanding physically and mentally.
Well, not only that, but it's not just you. You've got your whole team on your shoulders that you're trying to help, and so you're trying to make sure you do well for your team. I bowled a couple Bakers with the Reichert Cup, but nothing like the collegiate system. So Baker is totally different. I mean, it's just I felt so much more pressure because I was out there as you probably were for your teammates. So you don't want to let them down. You want to be able to carry on and lead that to the next guy. No matter what spot you bowled, you want to set the next guy up. So it's hard. It's hard and stressful and.
Well, you talk to the pros, and you ask them about the Elias Cup, and they'll all tell you they want to be involved in that, and they love it.
Oh yeah, I agree totally.
And that's all team bowling. That's a lot of Bakers, and it's amazing what the feedback that the tour gets from that. And those players love the Baker competition and team style.
Well, and on the PBA, there's so much singles. You relish that where it's not just you out there by yourself, whether it's the doubles or the team event. You like to have that opportunity where it's not just you out there with all the pressure on yourself.
Well, we are down to 4 teams, 2 on the girls' side, 2 on the boys' side. And we have Brownsburg Lady Bulldogs against Griffith. And on the men's side, the Noblesville Millers taking on Terre Haute South. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee in the broadcast booth here on Savage Bowling TV. We appreciate you tuning in here to the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Finals. All right, we're perched up here behind lanes 5 and 6, just off to the side of the championship pair, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and Mike. And it's been a battle of who can stay clean the most, right? Spares have been key.
Even into singles today, it was the same thing. If you're able to make your spares, that's why they won the titles. They made spares. So we've seen some great matches so far. Spares would have carried some other teams farther, but Griffith. The girls from Griffith threw 5 in a row in an overtime match. So anything can happen in these title matches. It's going to be great ones.
Well, is it odd that you watched while the Lady Bulldogs of Brownsburg warming up that Griffith girls just kind of stood around and not staying loose on the practice pair?
I mean, it's a concern for me, only because it was such an emotional match to win that extra game. And they had 5 in a row, and they shot 218, and so many positive things. It's almost like relief, and you just take a deep breath and your shoulders slump down. You want to get those girls back up and on top of the horse as quick as you can because you want them to be ready to go that first frame. Because now you're bowling the leader for the state title, and you do not want to give them any extra help.
All right, Terre Haute South looking to run the ladder on the boys' side. Noblesville standing in the way as the number 1 seed. Griffith was your number 2 seed. They are looking to take a state championship. Megan Schoon looking to do the double here, win the singles and the team event. Brownsburg off to the start here. Mike, what's the roster here for Brownsburg?
Brownsburg, looks like we have Madeline White in the leadoff, Erin Cardinell, number 2, Allison Whitmire at the number 3 slot, Emily Burleson set up in number 4, and then as the anchor, Megan Kennedy. All
right. You're going to get another look at a familiar player from this morning, Noah Tannenbaum for Noblesville. The young man will be bowling third for the Millers. And a good start for Brownsburg on a spare, but Griffith strikes first with a strike in the first frame. Noblesville off with a strike to start. How can Terre Haute South react if they're behind early? And remember, they led the whole match against Eastside.
Yeah, and they did a great job of filling frames, so you want to see if this delay hasn't hurt them.
And a strike in the second for Lena Tarswell for Noblesville.
Because it kind of neutralized for Terre Haute South and Noblesville. They both had the same amount of time to wait now, where it took away the momentum from Terre Haute South. So it's up to Terre Haute South to get back in there, get that started again.
All right, coaches for Noblesville is Tom Tarswell, Doug Smith, and Jamie Elliott. Scott and Laura Barber for Terre Haute South, your coaches.
Noah just fired the third strike for the Noblesville Millers.
Noah did a lot of striking in his singles match. He just couldn't find the spares that he needed to advance. And Brownsburg clean through two. So's Griffith. And a strike in the third for Griffith. And if you're the girls on the Griffith side, they're trying to get as many pins as they can for Megan Schoon or Morgan Schoon in the 10th frame. Noblesville off to a strong start. Strikes through four. Putting a huge amount of pressure on Terre Haute South.
Two-game match, but you don't want to fall too far behind because you want to stay close as you can if you get behind.
6-pin for Aubrey. And the rail for Brownsburg here. And Allison looking to convert the 1-2-4-7. Still a great crowd here, Mike, inside championship lanes. Anderson, Indiana, the location. Once again for the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Finals. Championship matches for the girls and the boys underway here in game number one of a two-game Baker total pin match. And a big strike there for Terre Haute South. 10-pin for the Millers. And I don't know if you remember a few years ago, but I'm pretty sure Nathan Smith made a deep run in the singles portion.
I think you're right.
For Noblesville. So not only do they have Noah Tannenbaum, but Nathan Smith with a ton of experience here state bowling in the state championships.
Yeah, I think out of the last 5 or 6 years, Noblesville's been showing up a little regularly here in the state finals. Big shot for Terre Haute South.
They bounce right back with a double. Open frame now in the 5th frame, I believe, or is that 4th frame, I think, for Brownsburg. Now their anchor bowler, our first look at Megan Kennedy for Brownsburg, the Lady Bulldogs. And the bucket. Oh, 7-10 for David Hayes. No surprise that Morgan Schoon strikes in the 5th for Griffith, and they follow it right up with a strike, but now the 1-2-4 for the girls out of Griffith High School. And that's Allison Lawson. And an open frame for Brownsburg.
Brownsburg just looks a little tentative right now, not showing a lot of the body English shows you a little bit of what's going on, and they just don't seem to be confident yet and into the flow of the match, where Griffith has kind of picked it up where they left off.
Well, that's what I was going to talk to you about, Mike. Is it an advantage as the number one seed, because now you have teams coming up with a game experience or 2 games experience on the lights of the TV, getting a little more comfortable with how things go. Now the Bulldogs are going through their tentative stretch here, trying to get acclimated, and now Griffith out to a quick lead.
Well, and you add the fact that Griffith got an extra game in there with the overtime game, so they even got more practice and more excitement and pressure on themselves. So, yeah, they've picked it right back up. I was worried about them, but they've certainly picked it up.
We were concerned about them not warming up during the break, and what do we know?
Yeah, I didn't know a thing. Apparently, I was totally wrong because just watching Body English, they were, kind of just relaxed and had slumped down a little bit and relaxing. And, boy, the lights came on, and, boy, they're on it again.
All right, now Terre Haute South coming in light, leaving the 1-2. And an open frame in the 7th for Noblesville, but they have the early lead in game number 1. And Noah Tannenbaum with the spare in the 8th. And, boy, when you can have a state singles finalist as your number 3 bowler, you got to feel pretty confident about your team's chances,
I would
right?
say so, yeah. That's a pretty good spot to put them in if you got behind it. There's Brownsburg with their first strike. The crowd's been waiting for that one.
And a spare there for Terre Haute South. Right now, the advantage to Noblesville. An unfortunate break here, really, for Griffith there. A spare where they're all clustered together. Not as hard if there's...
Big shot by Brownsburg. Now they're on the double.
Now you might be seeing a little bit of a momentum swing here. 105 in the 6th for Terre Haute South. 147 in the 6th for Noblesville. So 40-pin lead here. And an open frame in the 9th. Uh-oh. Are they warm? Well, we're getting the fresh cookies in the broadcast booth. Hey, if you're coming to Championship Lanes, you got to come here and eat the food, right?
Yep,
Great food.
Great food.
And you got to have some warm chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, it's commercial break, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, yeah. Speaking of our sponsors, again, want to thank Storm Bowling, Brunswick Bowling, and Motive Bowling for their contributions to make the 2020 Indian High School Bowling State Finals broadcast possible right here on Savage Bowling TV.
Oh,
big spare here for Brownsburg.
Solid 8 for Noblesville.
Oh, and she takes the 1-3 and leaves the 6. Open frame, 9th frame, 144 in the 9th for Brownsburg. And as you just saw, big strike there from John and Terre Haute South, and a spare in the 9th from Morgan Schoon. Try to get you updated here on the scoring. 204 possible right now for Terre Haute South, and David Hayes with a chance, the anchor bowler, to cut into that deficit. 211 possible out there for Noblesville. So a big shot right here for David Hayes.
Beautiful shot.
He gets it.
Yeah, I've liked that 4 and 5 group from Terre Haute South all day. I mean, they just keep coming through.
Oh, and an open frame in the 10th for Brownsburg. And Morgan Schoon with the 7 count, 180 for Griffith. Didn't quite get 153 for Brownsburg, so a lot of work to do here in game number 2 for the Lady Bulldogs.
Yeah, have we seen so far? I mean, those 20-pin deficits can disappear fast.
211 finish for Noblesville, and now David
Great
Hayes.
game. Great start for Noblesville.
Has a chance to get in the 200s right here with a strike. Second ball, 10th frame, left lane. Double working. He didn't like it. 4-6.
That's still a good finish. I mean, that kind of got them back in. They had some troubles, but they're not too far out.
That's going to put them in the 190s, Mike. And again, you're only, a couple of marks away, or maybe a double or 3-bagger in there somewhere. Important to get one ball, get one pin here. 1 means 2. That would put him at 191. Now game number 2 starting here for the ladies. Advantage 27 pins for Griffith. 2, 4, 10. All right, 6 gets knocked down, and 191 for Terre Haute. 20-pin deficit for the boys out of Terre Haute South. And an open frame start for Brownsburg. That's what I said. Looks like we might have possible lineup change here for, which would be kind of
yeah.
surprising after shooting 211. And
that one got away from her a little bit there on the left lane.
yeah, the tough part there is the 3 count on the spare.
Noblesville starts off with a strike. They're right back where they started.
Boy, Noblesville has been on fire. Now, how can Terre Haute South react being down 20 going into the final game? And now, can Griffith get Morgan Schoon the lead? Keep that lead for her in the 10th frame. She's been clutch all day long. Your single state champion on the girls' side, looking to make it a clean sweep for her, winning the team event here. And a good spare there in the second frame for the Lady Bulldogs. And an open frame for Griffith. 22 in the second. A 7-pin lead right now in this game for Brownsburg, but they're down 27 after game number 1. Oh, and a 4-5-7. 4-5-7 for Brownsburg here
shot
in the third, and a strike for Griffith. Looks like Terre Haute South, Mike, started off with an open frame. Strike start for Noblesville. Now a 2-8 conversion. Keeps their game clean and their 20-pin lead intact. They've actually increased it now to 30. Big shot here. Chance to make a spare. Nope. And Brownsburg's falling even farther behind. Now Aubrey Svilar for the girls out of Griffith High School. She leaves the 2-7. Makeable, though.
Yeah, it's a little better than the one on the right side, the 310. The 2-7, she's going to let that ball drive to the left of the 2 and let the ball continue on and take the 7.
2-pin for Terre Haute South. They've got to make up 20 pins here with only 10 frames left. Check that. Make that 31 pins. Spare there. But they need strikes.
Oh!
Not
Other
the
way.
Not the way you draw it up,
That's
is it,
plan
Mike?
B. That's plan B. So that works too.
Yes, it does.
She switched balls on that, so that was a good move.
Looks like we got a little bit of a change here on the lineup. Give some coaches flexibility when you have a lot of girls that can come in and get the job
what a
done.
beautiful shot.
And Morgan Schoon once again with a strike in the 5th. Boy, she has been phenomenal.
Yeah, she has definitely been dependable all day.
Oh, a big shot there from Brownsburg. Now back to the top of the order for Griffith.
This is the last frame for her. This is the second round.
Ooh.
310.
Well, she made a split spare in the first frame.
Yeah.
Looking to do it here in the 6th.
Elizabeth Lawson there getting ready to shoot the 310.
All right, 8 splits open for Noblesville, but Terre Haute South comes right back with an open frame in the third themselves.
Brownsburg with the lineup change. They get a strike and a double out of that.
That's when you, as your coach, you give yourself a pat on the back, right? Yeah, I knew that. I knew to do that. Open frame now for Griffith right after Brownsburg doubles. A lot of bowling left here.
New player for Brownsburg was Alexandra Paddock, it looks like.
All right, now Brownsburg here in the 7th on a double. Oh! Good break that the 6 falls late, leaving just the 5. Oh, fortunate the 7 pin falling late there for Noblesville. And Griffith not doing themselves any favor here.
They need to stay aggressive here and continue to fill frames and not let Brownsburg sneak back into this one.
Open frame in the 4th for Terre Haute. And an open frame in the 7th for Brownsburg. You know, sometimes there's a little bit of gamesmanship done. If I was Brownsburg, I might have just waited and let her shoot her spare first.
Yeah.
You know, because
Keeps
now when
the
you
heat on.
open, you give her a little bit of a breather, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little gamesmanship in
Sure,
Bakers.
because now if you miss, it's like, it's okay. We're still the same. Nothing's changed. Beautiful
David
shot.
Hayes with a beautiful shot in the 5th. All right, Brownsburg. Big spare here in the 8th frame for Allison Whitmire. And now Griffith in the 8th. Strike. Allison Lawson with the strike, and now Aubrey Spilar here in the 9th frame. But now, first off, Brownsburg really needs this spare here in the 8th. 111 in the 7th. They've made up 3 pins, but they're down 27.
Oh,
good
shot.
spare. Okay. Noblesville with the 1-2 there on your far right, but the girls are getting down to crunch time. Oh, what a break from Aubrey. Brooklyn strike double in the 9th. And a huge shot right now for the Lady Bulldogs. Oh, 3-6, 9-10. And I think Morgan can smell blood in the water, right?
Yeah, she can definitely just finish this off and make it a great day for it. Already is a great day winning the singles championship, but yeah, she's very close to the title in the team event as well.
This will win it right here, folks. It's left. Oh, 4-6. And the first bad shot.
A little quick at the
from
feet, a
Morgan.
little anxious, but
Oh, great spare there. So let's see what we have here. 177 possible, and it's not going to be enough. Griffith will be your champions on the girls' side, and Morgan Schoon will take home the
double
sweep.
today. Yeah, what a day for her.
And now we turn our attention to the men, the boys, with a couple of girls on Noblesville.
Yeah.
But Morgan Schoon will do the double.
Yeah.
She'll win the singles, and she'll win the team on the girls' side. What a year for Morgan in high school bowling.
Yeah. Just a tremendous day, tremendous year, but great player.
They shoot 164, 344 total. My, oh my, what a day.
Yeah. I read it totally wrong. I thought, but they know how to set the game up and set it up for themselves. And Griffith, who won a tough overtime game, didn't look really ready to go, but boy, they came out firing and has taken this title today.
Nice shot there from the Lady Bulldogs and Megan Kennedy for the girls. And I'm sure they're disappointed, Mike, but still a heck of a day for the Lady Bulldogs out of Brownsburg. And now, Terre Haute South, they need to strike and need some help. And the coach's son, John Barber, he strikes in the 9th, but they are way behind right now, the Millers out of Noblesville.
Nice finish for Brownsburg. Megan Kennedy with a great finish for Brownsburg.
And Noah Tannenbaum with the spare in the 8th. And that'll bring up James Sutton. 177 finish. They win by 13, but lose the match 344 to 330. Griffith, your state champion on the girls' side, and now Noblesville looking to stake their claim. Strike in the 9th frame. David Hayes with a strike in the 10th for a double. They only have 168 out there, and he strikes again in the 10th. Great weekend there for David Hayes as the anchor player for Terre Haute South. And now Nathan Smith, the anchor bowler for the Millers out of Noblesville, looking to cap off his season with a team state championship. Oh, stone 8, but it doesn't matter. The Millers will win.
Very nice.
The
Beautiful
boys
shot.
state championship.
Beautiful shot.
And it wasn't that long ago we saw Nathan in the singles portion. So a ton of experience for the Millers as David Hayes strikes for 168.
Great run by Terre Haute South. Great job of getting to that title match and giving themselves a chance to win the state title. And Brownsburg led and lost, but some great bowling today.
There we go. The emotion, the excitement from Nathan Smith, the anchor bowler for the Millers, as they will win the boys' side of the state championship. And probably a little bit of, kind of retribution for him, or whatever you want to call it, as, he came up short there in the singles portion, but get some hardware to take home here in 2020.
Yeah, it's a state title. What a great job and great team. Great team. They came out, they were the leaders, and were able to put it together and hold off a Terre Haute South team who was making a great run from the bottom of the ladder.
Noblesville shoots 183 for a 394 to a 359 victory over Terre Haute South, and your team champions once again, the girls from Griffith and the Millers from Noblesville on the boys' side. And Mike, again, the teams that won have once again filled frames and were able to throw the shots when they needed them.
Yeah, that was the key today, definitely filling frames. You could leave some designs out there, but they kept getting a good count. They got the spares they needed. Didn't kill their momentum when they were able to put strikes together, and they got great play though on the 10th frame. That was a difference too.
Well,
finishing the game.
Terre Haute South with a great run there, coming up short. I'm sure they're disappointed, but what a run here in this stepladder format.
They are. It's tough. It's hard to come from the bottom of the ladder like they did and take a break and not continue to practice on the pair you're bowling on and letting the other team come on and get in that practice. So they handled a lot of adversity to give them a good shot. And then they had to wait an extra time period while the girls had the overtime game. So that was extra time they had to wait. So, yeah, it was a tremendous run for Terre Haute South.
Now the attention goes on the girls' side. Griffith, the number 2 seed, they defeated Hobart in the tiebreaker, as you said, 218 to 160, and then 344 to 330 over the Lady Bulldogs of Brownsburg. And what a day for Morgan Schoon.
Yeah, Morgan had it figured out all day. I mean, she got there, made great shots. She was one of those girls, when she got up there, her teammates knew she was going to put it in play and more than likely get a strike. So it's nice knowing that you have your anchor bowler who's there and dependable and countable, and wow, what a day for her.
Yeah, wins the singles state championship and now takes home the team crown here on the girls' side. So what a day for Morgan Schoon and the girls from Griffith. And Mike, it's been a great day of high school bowling, and really, it's great to see a lot of different teams from this year than we've had from last year and see the sport growing.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of my most favorite days is come to the state championship for the high schools. And I recommend anybody who wants to come out, whether it's, just an event, regular event, a regional, it's just the kids are great. The sportsmanship is great. The coaching's great. It's a great pinnacle for the sport of bowling. And in Indiana, it's very great.
Well, thanks for your time, Mike. That's going to, if you're looking for more bowling action here on Savage Bowling TV, we'll be back on the air right here inside Championship Lanes in Anderson, Indiana for the State Queens championship once again. So if you're looking for that, tune in March. We'll have that live action. That's going to conclude our action here from Championship Lanes for the 2020 Indiana High School Bowling State Championships. Once again, the Noblesville Miller boys win the state championship on the boys' side, and the girls from Griffith take home the title on the girls' side. For Mike Albee, I'm Scott Gilmore. We'll see you once again here on Savage Bowling TV.